Welcome back. Thank you all for watching, and those of you who have been commenting. It's really gratifying to know that someone is out there actually listening and watching. Appreciate you all. What will we be doing today? Today we're going to do stamping, which is really one of my very favorite things ever, and it can be the start of something, which I'll show you more about how to do this here in a moment. And it can also be something that you use at the end if something is not working out like you would like it to. So let's start off with what we're going to be using today. We're going to be using kneaded erasers, and I just bought a whole bunch of them, and I was hoping that they would be in by now, but well, obviously they're not, or I'd have them out here. We will be using some regular cardstock paper. You can see it has a nice little pearlescent glow to it. Doesn't have to, but I don't know. This is what we had. And of course, I've already coated it. I've already stamped these and coated them with Mod Podge, just simply because I really didn't think that was a procedure that you needed to see. That's pretty simple and straightforward. You stamp, you Mod Podge. All right, now getting to my stamps that I've made over the years, and actually years, because some of these are 10, 15 years old. And the thing I like to do as much as anything is, if you're going to be stamping, it might as well mean something, have some kind of meaning. Symbolism is basically what we're working with here. And this one, you can see, means freedom, emancipation. The harmony one, you can see here, this is my new harmony stamp that I made from that one. I didn't like the way it turned out there, and it got smushed and squished around when I moved from Alaska, so it had to be redone, and here it is. This is energy, like that one a lot. All of my circular stamps here symbolically mean something. You can look them up online. I especially like this one because it has been squished and mushed enough that it has a lovely texture within the texture. And you can see how I got that texture was this little jobby here, which sometimes I use to facilitate my stamping. You don't necessarily need it, it just makes it easier. Alrighty, now to the actual stamp making. It's not rocket science. There's no right or wrong answer here, except I do have these out here. I had some beautiful stamps I made, and the problem is this crumbles. After a while, your little pieces are going to come off just like that, and you're going to be very unhappy. You know, you learn these things over time. You learn these things. Another thing that I'm going to use today that I did with these is the Distress ink, the Ranger Distress ink. And I love-hate this. You want to stamp it before you Mod Podge your papers, because it doesn't stamp very well afterwards. You need to use something else, which I'll show you how to do that also. Okay, kneaded eraser. Basically, we're just going to start with this small little eraser, and I kind of waffled about what kind of stamp I wanted to make today because I'm trying to get a collection of leaves going here. You just take this, and I'm going to go ahead and just cut it in half to start off with, because I'm looking at my leaves here, and I've got this leaf, I've got this leaf, and I've got this leaf. So I want to get some variety going here. And you get variety when you have different sizes, different shapes. You just squish it around until it sort of kind of does what you want it to do. And cutting this in half really works great because you already got sort of your leaf thing going there. Handy dandy tool from clay making. And it works great. You just go down through here, and you want to keep in mind how your leaf is moving. Put it down there so you can see it. Match it up on the other side. And you have a leaf. Alrighty, let's see how that baked stamps. These over here. Here's our paper. No Mod Podge on it yet. Remember, this is Mod Podge comes later. Our Ranger ink here. And I can put this on my little stampy pad thing here. Just show you. But you don't have to. You can just use your finger if you want to. Stamp, stamp. And one thing is you kind of have to orient yourself about where your stamp is in your stampy pad. And you know, at this stage, really, I'm not so concerned about this because this is just a means to an end. It's not necessarily
finished product.
A finished product. I'm doing this to get some stuff going on here so I can go ahead and do some other things over the top of it. Okay. It's nice. I see. It's a little pinker when you go over it with them. Now, also, I probably didn't let these dry quite long enough as I was trying to get this done and, you know, let's move along. So you can see the difference in the color, just slightly. So do let them dry, and then you can work with it. I picked these out because, again, we're doing the leaf thing, and I looked up leaves online, and symbolic wise, where's my paper? I did do my homework. Okay, green leaves, renewal and growth symbolically, and if they're brown, sadness and depression. So we have brown leaves here. We don't want to make a sad card, so we're gonna zip these up. And before I started all this, I went ahead and squirted into my palette over here. And I think I've talked about that palette. Just absolutely, I love this palette because what it does is it allows me to mix and match and not have to worry about taking the lid off. All right, so we're starting off with blue. You know, I don't have any idea why I'm starting off with blue. Just seemed like a good idea, and we want to get rid of some of that ucky brown. And remember, we're not working on Yupo paper here. This is paper that's been created using Mod Podge, and that video I think is still available. If not, you can find it on YouTube. All right, now, liking that. Now let's get some actual, and I could tell you what color of green this started out with, but actually it's been changed so many times, who knows. And I should have Mariah take a picture of the palette over there. It's really pretty gross. And a tiny bit of Rainforest, and you can see when I go over there, I'm really kind of testing that out because that is some strong stuff. Some movement going here. Suck that off the edge. All right, let's just get let's get some little braver here. You can see this stays put more so than if you put this down on the Yupo paper, it would just be going all over the place. So those of you who do work landscaping, realistic type, I highly recommend you try this out, because once you kind of get the idea of what it's going to do and how it's going to react, you can really see it's pulling a little bit of, you can see the glimmer Oh, it came with the camera kit? I thought it was snot removal. Hey, whatever that thing is, I found it, and I like it. The problem is sometimes I can't find it because my granddaughter likes it too. She likes to walk around and move people. All right, now, you know, I'm not loving this right now, but I'm not even worried about that. I'm going to put this aside and talk about something else while that loses a little bit of its gushy-gushiness. You can go out and buy these things, and I did. I spent, this was full price. And the reason I have this stamp on here is because this is the negative image. Yeah, I just pressed this in here, and this is what resulted. And then this card, you can see I used it around the edge. It's the opposite of this. And I haven't put this on thing because what's lovely about this is you can just stamp it around and move it about, and it's just absolutely lovely. Okay. To show you how this started out, now you can really see through the card. This is the back of the card, and that's what happens. And you can go ahead and, you know, you can take out the ones you don't want, but I think those right there are really, really nice. Creates a nice textured effect. And again, this is the back of the card. Sometimes I've really thought about, wow, I should use the back of the cards. And you can see what happens on the front. It's more of a removal process, pulling it up, stamping it, over stamping, and getting that back again. So if you're going to buy one of these and pay money for it, this is one of the ones that I highly recommend because it comes in very handy. Oh, also this one. When we were just doing the coating our Mod Podge sheets, I would go ahead and stamp into the Mod Podge, let it dry, and you would have a nice little polka dotted texture to work with there. But it's subtle, it doesn't leap out and scream at you, but it does the work. Okay, let's just do...
That's why you get
that
it soaking through like that.
Because what
Same
it did is it removed the Mod Podge on those little dots, so it sucked into the surface. Yeah, good point. That's probably absolutely true. Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's just do one more stamp here because I want to talk about multiple stampings and how you can get that to really work for you in a composition if you don't have, if there's something going on there that you want or didn't want, and you maybe need something a little more. You can see my leaf right here. This is on our Mod Podge paper, and you can tell because you can actually see this brush strokes from the application of the Mod Podge. And it wasn't working. I hated it. I was just not happy with it at all, and I just came in with my little stamp and stamped it in. It was basically what I did is I just took a wide brush, took some of my whatever this thickening solution is, mixed it with my color so that I had a little bit of gushy, painted it on there, and stamped it on the card. That's another thing that you can do with your stamps. All right, I have one over here that I was working on. So let's just do a little bit of the stamping. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try it just straight. No solution. I think you will see why you do want to use a solution. But, yeah, who knows? Press it on, pull it up. Okay, you can see a little bit gushy there. The other thing that you can do is you can use your, okay, where's my white? This white mixture. And you just want to be careful that, because it's going to make everything opaque. But in some of these areas where it is very light, I think that the opacity is going to perhaps bring some of that light bright back in there. Put a little in my handy dandy dish here. This will have a little bit of color still on it, which don't mind that. Just paint it on and see what happens. Okay, well, it isn't as light as I wanted it to be. Come back in with a little bit more. Okay, that's probably going to be too much, but who knows. Well, that just kind of mucked things up. That's interesting texture. I don't hate it. This white dries very rapidly. I've noticed. It doesn't stay. Okay. All right. We're going to leave that alone for a little while, and I'm going to come back in and okay, want to clean this up and get rid of some of this stuff. Very simple. Push some alcohol on. Stamp it a couple times.
That's really what you needed on the...
Yeah, that's really what I needed on the thing. And the more you will notice in your areas where you have your crease, your design here, if you use a really viscous mixture, what you will have is it will suddenly become, what you see is the stuff that went into the little creases there. And this was done with the Sargent metallic tempera paint that we used to make backgrounds in the first video. So just have that on hand, and I think it's kind of nice. Alrighty, now let me check really quick to see if I've talked about everything I want to talk about. Go buy some kneaded erasers and have some fun with it. Oh, I should talk about some more of my little tools here. This is a really specialized tool that came with the
Humidifier.
No, not humidifier.
Yeah, it did.
Diffuser.
No.
Oh, humidifier?
Humidifier.
Okay. Okay, you get some different stuff going on here. And don't be afraid, you know, if you don't like it, just roll it up in a ball and start over. That's what's beautiful about this. I really, you know, kneaded erasers, I always bought boxes of them at the beginning of the year at school when I was teaching, simply because they disappeared at a rapid rate. The children absolutely loved just sitting there and messing with these. They would make me all kinds of wonderful little things and bring them up and share them with me, you know, little, I mean, it was amazing what they could do. And, you know, how do you just sit there and squish up somebody's beautiful thing that they've worked at making for, you know, probably an entire class period instead of knowing what they were supposed to do. But it was so wonderful that you couldn't be mad at them. But the properties of this are just, I don't know. I love kneaded erasers on so many levels, and not necessarily that they erase. Alrighty. Hope you learned something today. I hope you go out there and really, you know, just play with this. There are no right and wrongs, and if you don't like it, you crumple it up and do it again. Thank you for watching. Bye.